So you're one of the many Americans who are currently taking advantage of buying all of these AR-15s before they potentially could get banned. Hi, my name is Bo Davis, and today we're going to look over how to disassemble and reassemble the AR-15. Before we start, we're going to go ahead and make sure that the current AR-15 I have right here is clear. Alright? So if you want to go ahead and look inside, show that it's clear. Alright. So that's the first key thing that you have to do, is make sure that the weapon is clear, so that way everything is going to be safe. While we're going to be going over the weapon, we'll slowly go over the nomenclature. But the big key components are going to be the upper, the lower receivers, and the bolt which is inside. So the first step that you have to do, this is called the takedown pin. You push that in, and then you pull it out on the other side. There's another pivot pin right here that you push in, and then you pull out. Once those pins have been pulled out, you simply separate the upper and lower receiver. Once you've done that, you take the charging handle right here, you pull it out until you can grab the bolt, slide the bolt carrier group out, and you can set that down. Continue sliding the charging handle until it kind of drops out on its own, and you've separated the charging handle from the upper receiver. As of right now, the upper receiver is completely field stripped. So we'll go ahead and set that off to the side. Taking the lower receiver, there's a small little spring nub right here. You push that down, and the buffer and buffer spring will kind of pop out on their own. Now the lower receiver is completely separated. Coming to the bolt carrier group, what you want to do is push the bolt all the way back as you can. You take your fingernail, and this right here is called the retaining pin. You kind of get that in, pull the retaining pin out. Don't separate or push the two ends apart, that'll destroy it. So just leave it as is. You put it down, make sure you don't lose it, because that would be really bad if you do. Now at this point, the firing pin is going to fall right out. Set that aside. Now you take the bolt and you extend the bolt out into the locking position and push it back in. You rotate over, rotate the bolt cam pin a quarter of a rotation. Once you've done that, it comes right out and it completely misses the gas tubing. At that point, you can pull the bolt completely out. So at this point, we have completely disassembled the AR-15 to field stripping standards. Any farther than this, you should be a skilled gunsmith. Now, you can't shoot it this way, so we got to reassemble it so that way you can go out and have some fun. So, starting back with the bolt carrying group. You take the bolt. Now if you look on the bolt, there's an ejector that's right here. You can see that it's almost separated. Now you can pull it apart if you want. You insert that, and as you can see, when you're working with it, you got two holes that are going to line up. Once you get those two holes to line up, you take the bolt cam pin and you insert it, pull the bolt out, and then rotate it a quarter rotation, and then you push it back in. Now, the trick I've learned about inserting the firing pin, you take your hands, you grip the end of the bolt housing group, and you just drop it in. That way it guides it in, and then all you have to do is push it in the rest of the way. Ensuring that the firing pin is all the way forward, and ensuring that the bolt is all the way to the rear, you take your retaining pin and you reinsert it like such. If you have to, use the palm to be able to smack it all the way in. Now, to make sure that you do a function check to make sure that you assembled it properly, flick of the wrist, it should go back to the external locking position. Alright? Then you take the lower receiver, the buffer and buffer spring, just guide it in until it locks. Now the lower receiver is fully assembled. Taking the upper receiver, we're going to hold it upside down, taking the charging handle and ensuring that it is also upside down. You place it in the chamber and slide it forward until it snaps down. Once you're there, you're ready to insert the bolt. And What you always want to do is kind of give it a nice flick of the wrist to make sure that it's in the locking position. It will not insert if it's not in the locked position. Inserting the gas tube inside the charging handle, you push it all the way forward. Now the upper receiver is fully assembled with the bolt carrier group. Closing the ejection port cover, you come over and you realign the upper and lower receivers as they were originally and push in the pivot pin and the takedown pin. Now the weapon is fully assembled. However, you want to perform a functions check to make sure that you did it right. So, putting the weapon on safe, or if it's not already, take your thumb and pull on the trigger. It shouldn't fire because it's on safe. If it does, go see a gunsmith. Then you take the weapon, you put it on fire. You pull the trigger, the hammer falls forward. Now you keep the pressure on the trigger, pull the charging handle and the bolt to the rear, and then listen. It's going to reset. Once it resets, that means that you know that the full cycle of the gun has been completed. So, do that as many times as you see fit. That's a functions check with AR-15. That is how you disassemble and reassemble the AR-15 to field stripping. Thank you.